probably about 6 weeks ago, we kind of changed how we approach each game and each day, and it became about the process. And when you talk about that, it's like, what can we do to create repeatable success? And focusing on things that we can control, like reloading and discipline and blocking shots and things that really kind of don't take a whole ton of ability, just things that you mentally have to prepare for. And I think it's been obviously a big change in how we've approached the game, and it's served us well.
Thanks, Coach. We'll now open up to questions. If you have a question in the Zoom, either raise your hand or make a note in the chat, and I'll call on you with a question. And we have a question from Carson. Go ahead, Carson.
Hey, Coach. Heading into this season, I think there weren't any clear favorites in the CCHA in terms of who would come out on top like there might have been in years past. And then about halfway through the season, people started looking at, maybe Tech, Bowling Green, maybe NMU. And then all of a sudden, in the past 10 games, your guys go 9-1, and now you find yourself in the CCHA championship game. What does this mean to your group, just knowing that you guys now really have a very good shot at making, the national tournament, maybe compared to where you were halfway through the season?
Yeah, I think it coincides a little bit with our thought process and how we approach the game. But, when the year started, this was the kind of team that we hoped we'd have, and for whatever reason, we had some injuries and some stretches where we just, we're probably shooting ourselves in the foot too much. We kind of slid down into a spot where we were in a position to only worry about the process, and whether you won or lost, it didn't really matter to us at that point. And I think that we've come together as a group, and now we're doing things that we were hoping we'd see at the beginning of the year.
Rob, question?
Hi, this is Rob here from Rink Live. AJ, what's working with the team so well? And obviously people are kind of pointing to the big output against Ferris, but what besides that moment has kind of led up to this playoff run for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's just all 30 guys just working in the same direction. Everyone's pulling the rope in the same way. We're all buying into the process and what makes our team really successful. And it's a very close-knit group. I think we're just playing for each other and playing to spend more time with each other, and it's working.
Questions for Tanner or AJ or Coach? Go ahead, Rob.
Grant, what's kind of been the common thread among your players this season?
It's a good question. I do think there's a lot of validity to what AJ just referred to. Coming into these playoffs, the series with Bowling Green, leading into the playoffs, we were just trying to get our team to a point where we were playing our best, at the end of the year. And then we get to Bemidji, and really we're just trying to extend our season and spend some more time together. And then that happens again at Tech, and that happens again, on Saturday. We have the same opportunity. So I do think it's a team that really enjoys being around each other. It's a team that whenever we do any team building things, there's a lot of laughs, and they really enjoy it together. So I think that probably has probably changed the direction of which way our season is going. And these two guys have really done a good job, kind of keeping the group together, because there was some dark days for us, some tough losses, but these guys, the one thing I said about these guys all the time, I challenged them early in the year quite a bit, was that they're resilient. No matter what you say about us, we're resilient. And, we've kind of, there's been games that I wondered, like, was that the game that, was going to get us and we weren't going to be able to come out of it? And, never once did that happen. And, the byproduct is us being here.
Semifinal game last week. what was kind of the big point for you coming out and having such a big first period and being able to pick up a win against a place that you maybe had some struggles in throughout your career there?
Yeah, it was huge to have a great start for our team, and it was awesome in the beginning of the game. I mean, we had the whole band up there from Northern, and just our fans were unreal up there, and it was just a great atmosphere to play in, and we're just trying to soak in the moment and take in those big games and have a great start, which we did, and that kind of carried us through the game, which was great.
Questions for a coach or either player from the Zoom or in the room here? Kevin? Dudley? I think you're muted, Kev.
Got me?
Yep, gotcha. Go ahead.
This can be for any of you. Just the success that their power play has been having. I think I'm sure you're well aware. I know your penalty kill has been, almost equally as good. How key do you think that matchup will be in determining the outcome tomorrow?
You guys can take that.
I mean, that's something our group's taken a lot of pride in this year. In the past years, our penalty kill hasn't been great, and our coaches have done a great job preparing us this year with penalty kill, new plan, new strategy. A lot of pre-scout goes into each week, and the guys that are on the kill have done a great job, and everyone's buying in. And the biggest thing is your goalie's got to be your best penalty killer, and Benny's been there all the way, and we're thankful for him, and we're just going to keep doing a good job and being relentless.
And I think to add on that is the discipline. You got to have great discipline in these games, and we're fully aware of what their power play's been doing the last 4 to 6 games. So we got to limit their opportunities.
Carson?
Coach, I think it's been really interesting just to look at the numbers. I mean, I know I mentioned you guys have been 9-1 in your past 10, but just looking at the other side of the ice, I mean, Mankato's only had 3 losses since the turn of the calendar year. It kind of seems like a little bit of a battle of hot streaks, if you will, and with how well both teams have been playing, what's the key to sort of weathering that storm and just being able to play your game?
Well, I think that, it doesn't really change for us. We kind of have the same thought going into each weekend. You got to make sure your discipline has to be good. You got to manage the puck, and you got to reload and recover above pucks. We're going to get our chances. We're going to get our looks. We always do. Everybody's going to get chances to score. I do think that we have some players with some offensive ability, and you're hoping that those go in for you. But you got to try limit what they do, and you most certainly can't create opportunities for good hockey teams.
Kevin Dudley?
For Coach, they've won. MSU has a lot of games in these situations. They're comfortable in them, but you guys over the last few years have had some success against them, especially in this building. You've won some big games going back 2 years in that conference semifinal. Is there something you can draw on that, just in terms of getting some confidence, having even more confidence come in than you do, despite all you're playing on top of that?
Yeah, maybe. I think probably Don touched on it this week. We're probably the hottest 2 teams in our league right now, and so I think both teams are going to have their fair share of confidence based on how they've played over the last stretch of the year here.